that we all in this body, and I know I can speak very firmly for the Democrats, support strong border control.
Yes.
And it must be part, and the first part, of any comprehensive immigration reform.
Hi guys, welcome to Go See Gail. I'm just here to go back in time a little bit and enjoy some footage of when the Democrats actually gave a shit about immigration reform. It's really, really fun to watch. You'll give the side eye a lot, and you might have some laughs as well. So let's take a ride.
Immigrants. We're also a nation of laws. Undocumented workers broke our immigration laws, and I believe that they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous. That's why over the past 6 years, deportations of criminals are up 80%. And that's why we're going to keep focusing enforcement resources on actual threats to our security.
I like that.
Ultimately, our nation, like all nations, has the right and obligation to control its borders.
Yes.
And set laws for residency and citizenship.
Yes.
And no matter how decent they are, no matter their reasons,
He sounds like a Republican.
the 11 million who broke these laws should be held accountable.
We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
You scare an employer in this country, whether he's an agricultural worker or a housewife, into not hiring an illegal because the punishment's so high that if you get caught,
yes,
it's a huge embarrassment to your family, and you may just get hit with a fine that'll kill you.
Yeah, absolutely, you can do, and that's what we should do. Well, I think we should do that.
Because you can't catch everybody.
You can't. No, you can't. And the last part of this is that the Democratic position...
I'm sorry. I have neck pain from hurting my neck earlier this week, and I'm taping this all over again because I had my fan on earlier, and I was like, oh my God, I have my fan on. So I'm in pain right now watching this. So when I watch this and I get mad, I get physically angry, and it hurts me when I watch Biden, who says that people should be fined, and then he just opens the border wide open just because they don't have the votes.
They should also recognize you got 11 million illegal aliens here. They have to have a way to earn their way into the deal. This is an amnesty.
The deal.
They're required to take 11 years' worth. They pay a fine. They got to...
Is that? Earn their way. This is the deal. This is the, ma'am, this is, what the deal is.
Learn to speak English. They got to pass test part. Yeah.
Securing the border is the first principle that we all have when we talk about the immigration issue. Securing the border means doing it well. It doesn't mean spending tens of millions of dollars on something that doesn't work. So we're talking about a couple of different issues. We're talking about, do we have a commitment to secure the border? Yes. What are the options that we have available to us? Let's make sure they work. Because while we need to address the issue of immigration and the challenge we have of undocumented people in our country, we certainly don't want any more coming in.
Yeah, we don't.
Broken borders.
We really don't. We don't want more coming in. See how she says this years and years and years ago? Because they had the votes and they had America on their side. Yeah, I was on their side. But now they don't really run things very well. And so now they have to bring in voters. That's what this is all about. We know this, but let's...
That's an oxymoron, something we can't tolerate. Borders of their nature, our definition as a nation, and our protection as a country. Broken borders, they don't exist. We can't tolerate them. So let's say from the start that we all in this body, and I know I can speak very firmly for the Democrats, support strong border control.
Yes.
And it must be part, and the first part, of any comprehensive immigration reform. To keep the American people safe, and our borders are our first line of defense, one of our early lines of defense to do that.
What changed? What changed? The president. The president changed. And also, Democrats are just terrible running things.
Go there asked for a Social Security card. In fact, one way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a Social Security card. This is an anti-fraud amendment. All over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud. When we use phrases like undocumented workers, we convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration.
Look at that.
Which the American people overwhelmingly oppose.
Do you hear that? And now they're so against saying illegals, and then they give them this safe word called undocumented. And he's against it. He's against it because they had the power back then. And now they don't have the power. And now they're losing voters, hemorrhaging voters like crazy.
If you don't think it's illegal, you're not going to say it. I think it is illegal and wrong.
I think we got to have tough conditions.
Oh, this is classic.
Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants.
Sleep.
The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan.
Democrats support also enforcing laws, current laws, against those who came here illegally and those who hire illegal immigrants. Imagine that for all of this talk about illegal immigration to the United States and going after those workers who are working here illegally, and we should, but we also must have employer sanctions. Where are these people working? Why are we not enforcing the law against employers who hire illegal? Mr. Speaker, we all know what we must do. Democrats have long called for strong border security, effective law enforcement, and for comprehensive immigration reform. In all that we must do as elected officials, we have the responsibility to make the American people safer and to make America stronger.
Yeah, I've been waiting to see a clip somewhere of somebody asking Barack Obama how he feels about ICE today. I feel like he's laying super low and not letting anyone ask him that question and have it be on tape, because he would have to answer and he would have to say it's necessary, and he did the same exact thing and nobody cared simply because he wasn't Trump. If there wasn't so much Trump hatred and also just Trump outing everyone for all the fraud that's going on, and I think that's the major issue. Trump is outing everyone for all the fraud, waste and abuse that's going on in this country, and all the corruption that's going on in Minnesota as well as in other blue states like New York and California and Illinois. And because he's outing everybody, a lot of people are voting Republican now. And the only way for the Democrats to stay in power is to import new voters. And so now illegal immigration is necessary for them to maintain power. And this is something that we all know that they're doing. I'm just so surprised that people can still just stand by and be cool with it. So I've been going down the rabbit hole and looking at these Democrats and seeing what they say back in the day compared to today. And I can't find anything on Nancy Pelosi. Anything that I put in the subject heading about Nancy Pelosi, it's just like, this content isn't available. It's not available. It's not available. It's not available. That's what happens when you have all that power, but also, she has all that money. She's worth $120 million. So she can scrub anything from the internet. It's nice to see her talk about immigration in the way that she did and how gung-ho she was about keeping our country safe back in the day when they actually had power. And now you just realize that's all they care about is power. I'm going to just say that over and over. That's all they care about is power. They don't care about keeping this country safe. They just care about power and money. That is the most corrupt lady on the freaking planet. One of them anyway, next to Ilhan Omar. Okay, next politician. So this is Batya Ungar-Sargon. She used to be a super duper lefty, like a hardcore lefty liberal. She's going to talk about Barack Obama's response to what's going on in today's illegal immigration climate.
Friends, we've let President Obama down. The former Democratic president would like you to know that the Trump administration's deportation agenda is a threat to our nation. That's how Obama put it in a statement published this week after Alex Preddy was tragically killed in a scuffle with ICE agents. The killing of Alex Preddy should be a wake-up call to every American that many of our core values as a nation are increasingly under assault. Federal law enforcement and immigration agents have a tough job, but Americans expect them to carry out their duties in a lawful, accountable way and to work with rather than against state and local officials.
We really do have to go back in time and reflect on how 30 to 50 illegal immigrants died. I don't know why it's 30 to 50. I have to do more research on that, but I think it's 50, but some people say it's 30 to 50. Anyway, 30 to 50 illegal immigrants died battling ICE, I guess when ICE was coming for them during the Barack Obama days. And not only was none of this filmed, it wasn't on the news, nobody really cared. Just nobody had any issues with it. That's why this is just so hypocritical. And now he's jumping in to make it like Trump's the bad guy. No, he's just doing what everybody did. All of those politicians in the beginning of this video, they were all on board for this until their policies started to fail. And now the only way to maintain power, I'm going to say this over and over and over, the only way to maintain power is to import new voters and then to manipulate the country into believing that we're doing something wrong by not wanting illegals here. It's always been a thing. I have a cat and her name's Darla. Okay, so let's continue.
Obama has it exactly backwards. It's the state and local officials whose refusal to cooperate with ICE led to Preddy's death. Were they cooperating, ICE wouldn't be forced to track down illegal criminals in the streets, where an organized network of activists that included Preddy impeded their every move. New footage published by the News Movement shows Preddy violently confronting ICE 2 weeks prior to his death.
Looks like a really nice guy. Kicking out tail lights.
Now, this new footage doesn't change the fact that Preddy's death was a tragedy, something we can all agree on. President Trump called it a very sad situation this week. But should President Obama really be linking to articles entitled "How to Help the Resistance to ICE in Minnesota and Beyond," especially given that deporting illegal migrants is literally what the majority of Americans voted for? It's certainly a far cry from what he said about immigration when he was in office.
Exactly.
Ultimately, our nation, like all nations, has the right and obligation to control its borders and set laws for residency and citizenship.
Whatever gets votes.
And no matter how decent they are, no matter their reasons, the 11 million who broke these laws should be held accountable.
That wasn't just talk. President Obama was known as the deporter-in-chief in his day.
Yeah.
Of course, he didn't have to worry about violent protesters. The left never bothered when it was their guy doing it. The Democrats claim to support enforcing our laws. They claim to support deporting criminals and even having a closed border. It's how ICE is doing it that they say they have a problem with. Nonsense. The demand isn't ICE nicer. It's ICE out. They opposed Trump's entire deportation agenda. And joining the chorus was none other than President Joe Biden, who literally opened the border and let 15 million illegal migrants stream across it. He wrote on X this week, what has unfolded in Minneapolis this past month betrays our most basic values.
Excuse me. We can loop him in right here because we just saw what he had to say. What has unfolded in Minneapolis this past month betrays our most basic values as Americans. We're not a nation that guns down our citizens in the street. That's not what's happening. We're just taking out the criminals and sending them back where they belong, son.
But Renee Good and Alex Preddy were not gunned down in the street.
No.
They died tragically while impeding law enforcement. Joe Biden weighing in tells you everything you need to know. The same people who for 4 years denied and then defended a completely open border think they can now lecture us about exactly how one may go about deporting the violent criminals that they opened the border to.
I think the most difficult part of this whole situation is telling the young kids that this is what all of the Democrats wanted to begin with. And when they had the power, I'll say it over and over and over again, when they had the power, it was the logical thing, because that's what keeps your country safe, is to not have, people just come in and live here. They get sick and then they procreate. They come in and they have a shit ton of kids without any real means to take care of them, and then they become our problem. It's not like they're coming here with millions of dollars and being like, I want to give to the United States. No, it's all, what can the United States give to me? What can this country give me? How can I get millions and billions of dollars in my bank account and send it back to Somalia? Now we're going to take a look at Chuck Schumer today, who speaks quite the opposite of the way he used to speak about illegal immigration back in the day. I mean, you saw how smug he was when the people were calling them undocumented back then. And he was like, no, they're illegal and we can't make nice with this. We can't be nice about it. They're illegal, right? And now it's like a totally different thing. So here is Chuck Schumer on the Morning Joe show with Mika.
Minority Leader Chuck Schumer of New York. Senator, thank you so much for being with us. Obviously, a possible shutdown for DHS is upon us. Masked agents are gunning down Americans in the streets, and it seems that some Republicans...
Can I just say this? I want Mika's job. I want to just be able to sit there at a desk, look into the camera and just go, that's my man. Yep, that's my man. And just sit there. I watched this whole clip earlier, and she doesn't say one friggin' word. I'm like, how much do you get paid to just sit there and go, yes, man, that's my man?
Most independents and most Democrats want things to change. You have an opportunity to do that.
Yes.
What are your demands going to be? I think maybe not so much with the president, but with a very recalcitrant House of Representatives.
Yep. Well, Joe, we have put together...
She just threw her paper on the desk like, yeah, here's some more notes. Yeah.
House Democrats, Senate Democrats, we're united from one end of our party to the other, and we put together some simple, common sense proposals that are done every day, that are used by police forces and local sheriffs everywhere. They have three basic objectives. One is to end these roving patrols. You can't just pick someone up on the street and put them in a dark prison without any kind of warrant. You can't bust someone's door down without it.
How did they do it before? That's my question. How did they do it when Barack Obama was the president? You know why we'll never know? You know why we'll never know? We'll never know because nobody ever filmed anything, because nobody cared, because everybody wanted illegals out, and that was the normal way. That's everybody was cool with it except for maybe illegals. Nobody cared. Okay? So that's what's crazy about this whole thing. I'm sure they didn't do it in a nice way. And they had the same ICE guy that did it back then that does it now. Tom Holman, right? Is his name Tom Holman? Or is it Tom Holman?
Any kind of warrant. That's the Constitution. Yet that's what's going on despicably on the streets of Minnesota and other places. We're also saying in terms of the roving patrols, some places are off limits. Schools, houses of worship, election places. We're saying there shouldn't be racial profiling when they pick people up. And we're saying they can't take an American citizen and lock them up without a warrant, without due process. The second area we're talking about is accountability.
There's no racial profiling. It's just that most illegals happen to be people of color because they're people from other countries. That's it. And ICE has a process. They know who they're going after. They don't just pick people. I don't know one person that's a person of color in Los Angeles that's afraid of being picked up by ICE, because all you need to do is have your ID on you. This is who I am. It's not hard to do. It's not hard to have an ID.
And enforcement. We need a code of force, a force code that's used by states, by police officers all over the states, when you use force and when you don't. We need real training for these people. When you watch the videos, you see they're totally untrained. They're brutal. They're nasty.
I have to stop you right there, Chuck. How do you create training schools for people that have to battle people that are throwing dildos at them, blowing whistles in their face, parking their cars in the middle of the street, throwing rocks at them, shooting them, kicking their taillights out, spitting on them? What kind of training? What training schools are open to deal with all of that? That's my question.
We also need to have enforcement that you can go to court, but there should be no masks. There should be there should be cameras. Everyone should have cameras, and there should be.
I can tell that the teleprompter's broken. He doesn't know what he's saying. He's just like, The teleprompter's down.
Rules on how they use them. And they have to have regular uniforms. Not all the stuff they're wearing.
Not
we can't have secret
things
police.
That they wear. They can't have bulletproof vests, whatever gear. Like, they're going to war every day. They're going to wear war outfits.
And we cannot, Johnson, the speaker, has said he wants to keep the masks. Well, I guarantee you, when you go down to his district in Louisiana, the sheriffs and police are fully identified with their name and their number. Right. That has to happen across America to prevent these rogue forces from terrorizing cities.
No secret police. No secret police. I can't even believe.
So even you could. I'm sorry, but you could tell that the. I can tell the teleprompter's out. No secret police. So no secret police. So this is when you guys need to take some improv classes, man. So watch.
We're saying that in America, it's so un-American. I understand the administration has expressed concerns about doxing and things like that. I want you to, like me.
Teleprompter's out. Look at this.
No masks, no secret police,
masks
and also
snow
an
masks.
understanding that we'll do whatever.
See, that's you know what it is. You guys don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I don't know why these people are paid so much money to read off a teleprompter. I think data entry people could get as much money because it's that easy. All you have to do is ask questions, and they already know what the answers are, because if you look at Chuck Schumer, he's reading off a teleprompter, answering the questions. This is why I like Trump, because he actually answers the questions. He doesn't have, he has a teleprompter sometimes when he's doing his big rallies and stuff, but most of the time he's talking about what he knows what he's talking about, or he's not reading off of anything.
Do whatever he can to protect them from doxing and from other things if there are radical activists that try to bring harm to them. But police officers don't wear masks. Sheriffs don't wear masks.
Yes,
they shouldn't wear masks.
And they face the local police, the local sheriffs face the same problems that these guys have in terms of the potential of doxing, and they're able to deal with it, but not mask up. This is just incredible. The American people are asking the Republicans and asking Johnson, why are you against police having identities?
Wow,
why
you guys are doing so much time on the masks, and it's because you don't even know what the next topic is. Like, you know what I mean? They're just like, masks.
Even President Trump is realizing that they're on the wrong side of this issue. They're on the wrong side morally. They're on the wrong side in terms of just being an American.
We're on the same side that you were on when you had the power and you didn't have to infiltrate all of these people, to maintain your power.
Because we in America have always had these values, have always had this, and this rogue ICE group is just terrorizing our cities and violating the Constitution every minute they're on the streets.
And it's showing up in the polling, as you say. Leader, good morning. Good to have you back with us on the show. I want to turn you to the elections in November.
As like new teleprompter, new reporter, and Morning Joe's like, I'm not answering. Morning Joe didn't even. Morning Joe didn't even say goodbye. He's like, teleprompter's down. I am out. That's so great. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. All right, you guys, I'm going to stop it there. That's hilarious, dude. It's so funny. Morning Joe doesn't even say thank you for coming or nothing. He just bones out. All right, you guys, this has been Go See Gail. Let me know what you guys think about all this hypocrisy that's going on the left side of things. Again, I used to be a Democrat my whole life until around 2020. When I realized what's really going on in the world, and it just got worse and worse and worse, and we're seeing so much is coming to light. It's really mind-boggling. And that's the kind of stuff I do videos on. I try to keep it light. Pop culture, politics. I try to have some laughs. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share.